Today's guest is Nobuaki Kitagawa, CEO for China at CyberAgent Capital. Hi, Nobu. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So it's my great pleasure. Thank you for this opportunity as well.
Okay, let's get it started telling a little bit about yourself and then about the CyberAgent.
Sure, why not? Thank you so much. So my name is Nobu, Managing Director of the CyberAgent Capital, which is actually the corporate, the venture capital arm of the CyberAgent. And CyberAgent is a Japan-based internet company and founded as a startup in 1998. And CyberAgent right now is operating the various internet businesses, including the online advertisement agency business, media business, including internet TV, and content businesses such as smartphone games. And currently, our annual sales is about $6 billion US, and annual operating profit about the last fiscal year was approximately $900 million US, and our least market cap is about $9 billion. And actually myself, I'm responsible for all of the CyberAgent overseas ventures investment, meaning our investment outside Japan. Right now, we are investing startups mainly in Asia, including Japan, China, and Southeast Asia, and actually South Korea as well. Mm-hmm. So right now our AUM is about $300 million US.
Yes.
And myself, I have been actually in China since 2008. And because of that, I have a chance to know the ever during the hard stay in Shanghai as well. And I actually have established investment business in China, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and South Korea. And I have led building our local teams across Asia. Right now, we have about more than 20 investment professionals across Asia. So that is the very brief introduction of the CyberAgent as well as myself.
Yeah, so your business parent company CyberAgent has been in the business since 1980. That's a very long time.
Yeah, 1998. So yeah, more than 20 years. Yes, that's right.
Interestingly, I came to hear the CyberAgent name in Southeast Asia. When when I visit Vietnam and other countries, everybody talk about CyberAgent for the venture investment.
So that way,
I ask my friend in Japan, actually my ex-colleague, who is a cyberagent, and then he gave a similar explanation, introduction as you did. So I was very impressed. How come not I know a lot of large trading company in Japan, they are also engaging in venture capital activity, right? But CyberAgent looks like built a very unique, very nice reputation in the Southeast Asia and the startup scene.
Thank you so much. I think that the one reason is that we actually entered into the Southeast Asia market relatively early. I still remember our first investment in Southeast Asia was actually around 2009. So it was actually much earlier than the other investors VCs, particularly in terms of investment in technology sector. So that is very fortunate for us. And that is why we actually have established some sort of nice reputation in the startup community in Southeast Asia, particularly.
Yes, I think people in the startup world in Southeast Asia consider the money from the CyberAgent as a smart money.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Okay, got it.
Shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah, sure.
So, Nobuaki, could you tell us about the investment strategy or strike zone in terms of strategy, sectors, focus, geographic market, ticket size, stage, social impact, and so on?
Sure. Why not? As I said before, we are actually the corporate venture capital firm of the CyberAgent. That is why our investment target is specifically for the technology sector. mainly in the internet services, which are actually the very close to the cyber agent. I mean, our own business domains. So in terms of sector-wise, we specifically focus on the internet services. And stage-wise, we mainly target at the seed and early stage startups across Asia. So mainly we invest in the seed or Series A stage, startup companies in Asia. And in terms of ticket size, it actually depends upon the market. But on average, we actually invest around 500K US dollars up to the 2 million US dollars per deal. So that is our basic investment strategy across Asia.
Gotcha. Let me skip the question 3, and then why don't you, Eva? You may ask question number 4 then.
Mm-hmm. So, besides low-hanging fruits like ride-hailing, food delivery, e-commerce, and fintech, what has been the new trend in the past 3 years, and how has COVID impacted your investment strategy?
Yeah, so of course, I mean, the Chinese market is actually has changed very rapidly, right? So there have been several big tech trends in the past few years. But for our investment perspective, first of all, I think the biggest tech trend in China is that the e-commerce market actually has become more evolved and more advanced. I think that is one big trend. In addition to as general, the e-commerce services like Taobao, Tmall, or JD, actually there have been several new trends in e-commerce sector last few years. For example, the very fast growing popularity for fresh foods EC. Another one is actually the EC's rapid penetration into the countryside or rural areas, in addition to the cities.
Yes.
And also another interesting big trend is that in the fast growth of the video commerce, like TikTok, the Kuaishou. So I think that this background behind these trends, of course several reasons. But the one is, of course, the evolution of the logistic networks, such as the cold chain, that is actually helped a lot to the grow the fresh foods, the grocery e-commerces, or maybe the spread of the so-called mini application of super apps like WeChat, Alipay. That is also helped a lot the e-commerce penetration in rural area. And of course, the sophistication of infrastructure such as 5G, that also helps a lot to increase the video commerce usage for the consumers. And in addition to that, I think another big trend in the technology sector is that the rapid rise of the domestic brands. Meaning that of course, that originally in China, a lot of the mainstream consumer goods, consumer brands were actually dominated by the foreign brands for a long time. But maybe because of the trade war between US and China, combined with the fact that the young people who do not necessarily blindly worship famous foreign brands are becoming mainstream consumers in China. So that is why the new domestic brands and products are actually being created one after another. Also as you may know, there has been huge global so-called D2C, the direct to consumer boom. So that is why the various new domestic brands, including cosmetics, beverages, alcohols, apparels, maybe health food. I mean, these the various new domestic brand actually coming out in the market. So that is also the very interesting a big trend in technology sector in China.
Mm-hmm.
Very comprehensive. I think thank you so much visualizing this market situation in a very, very vivid way. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Do you think in terms of these e-commerce companies or any startups you invested has a lot to do with WeChat mini app as well? Or were they standalone app?
Yeah, I mean, of course, eventually they definitely what they already had developed their own native app. But when they just launched their services at initial phase, they definitely rely on the mini apps like of the WeChat or Alipay, the whatever. Simply because if they do that, they actually can utilize huge user base or various function related with the super app function. So that actually helps a lot for the startup company.
Got it. Which company have you invested recently? Can you tell us a couple of current portfolio company you are bullish about?
Yeah, I mean in China, I just give you example. The few startups we recently invested. The one is actually startups who actually provide SaaS software as a service product for the specific retail industries like convenience store chains. So that actually startups provide the various the mainly online related function to the offline meet or big retailers such as CRM function, community management function, and live commerce function, as well as the delivery support the function. So as you know, I mean, mainly because of the COVID-19, retail industry also face various challenges, particularly offline. So that is why we thought that some sort of B2B SaaS products particularly helps offline retailers to the sift the more online field. We thought that would be a very interesting opportunity. That is why we recently invested in a company. And another startups we recently invested is again the B2B software products. But that company mainly focus on the cross-border e-commerce. They actually mainly manage or support actually Japanese products to sell them to the Chinese market, mainly for the traditional craft goods as well as the Japan-based D2C brands.
Got it. Eva?
Yes. So how do you support your portfolio companies to help founders grow the business?
Oh, so actually again it depends upon the portfolio company. Actually, our the basic investment policy actually is not to interfere or involve too much with the its management. Having said that, I actually believe that because the CyberAgent resources some value to the management team. That is why we were actually able to invest in these startups. So that is why if they ask for the whatever resources in which can help the startups to grow, we are of course very, very willing to provide them in order to help their growth. For example, I mean it's a past experience. Actually, CyberAgent is the kind of very, how do I say, the famous, particularly in the Japanese market, for the the unique or excellent human resource related system and the function. So we also have been growing from a very small startups to a company with right now nearly 10,000 employees. So some actually startups company are really eager to learn our own system or experiences regarding our HR system and recruitment method. So that kind of the know-how experience is actually very popular for our investee startups. So but again, I mean that if the entrepreneurs or management team really want to know these know-hows, we are very eager to transfer these experience knowledges. But other than that, again, we just trust management team and let them do operate their business the way as they want. So again that we not involved too much with their daily operation. That is our basic investment policy for our investee startups.
Yeah, got it. Actually, I saw that in terms of challenges, issues for the startup founder, they listed number one, number two is number one is fundraising, the number two is hiring the talents. So that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Agree. So I mean, for whatever startups, I mean, to hire, the talent is actually by far the most important and by far the most challenging, the hurdles. So I mean, then if our experience may be able to help them to solve that issue, we are more than happy to transfer our experience knowledge to them.
Got it. So, what is your next step on top of mind for yourself and then your CyberAgent investment activity in China?
Yeah, I mean that what we actually keep what we have done so far. I mean that still the Chinese market has huge potential in terms of the startup investment. Of course, it's challenging, but that means that there should have a huge the potential in the future. So the basically without the changing our investment strategy, meaning the focus on the early stage technology sectors, we want to continue to do what we can steadily to do in this very challenging Chinese market.
Thank you so much for taking time to introduce the CyberAgent and your investment activity in China.
Oh, it's a great pleasure for me.